Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Garden Day UK. This is the first ever Garden Day. We are having a virtual garden party. So wherever you are, turn on your cameras, get onto Zoom. If you're on Facebook Live, come over to Zoom because we want to see you. It's all about celebrating today. We want to see your flower crowns. We want to see whether you're having champagne, tea, cakes, coffee, wherever you are, in your gardens preferably, if the Wi-Fi and the weather permits. If you haven't got a garden, in your green spaces within your houses, on your balconies, if you decorated that in your house, if you've got lots of hot house plants like I've got. So yeah, just celebrate with us. And I've also got lots of prizes to give away, but only if I can see you. So go onto gardendayuk.co.uk's website. There's a link up there to join Zoom. But now it's time for some yummy food inspiration with Stephanie Hafferty. So Stephanie is the leading. Oh, hi, Stephanie. I was just gonna sing your praises and tell everybody about you. Shall I carry on?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so you are the leading authority on no-dig gardening.
Not quite the leading, one of them.
Oh, come on, you're being modest. You're one of the leading authorities on no-dig gardening. You're a food writer as well and a garden writer. You're passionate about promoting affordable, healthy food for everyone. Here. And how to grow it as well, how to grow it and what to do with it once we've grown it. Most importantly, I like eating. So Stephanie, I've got some ingredients with me. I hope that I'm going to be able to follow your delicious recipe. So talk us through what we're going to make today, or what you're going to show us how to make.
Well, because I've made a whole lunch, I've made it all already because my kitchen's kind of long and narrow and it wouldn't be possible to make it at the same time. So what I've done is planned a lunch based on everything that I'm picking from my garden at the moment. A bit of a theme because I decided to base it around the colour of rosé wine as well.
Oh, so, I didn't get the memo on the rosé. I got the memo on all the ingredients except the rosé. That's a huge fail, isn't it? Oh no.
Well, you see, you can make it later. What I'm going to do is put all the recipes with the quantities on my website, and I think Garden Day will be able to put that on yours as well. So I'll do that later this afternoon, so people will know how much of what that I put in things.
I'm gonna just pause one there, George. Yes, George just offered me a glass of rosé, so I think it'd be rude to turn it down. So I'd love a glass of rosé, please, darling. Thank you. Yay! Okay, got to do it properly.
Okay. Shall I carry on?
Please carry on. Sorry to interrupt you so rudely.
So this is a bit of a depleted basket. It was absolutely full this morning when I went out harvesting. But it's some of the things that I've used to make the lunch, which are in season now, such as broad beans and peas. Now, I've only got these early because I've got a polytunnel. So they're just coming into season for most of the UK. Further south, they'll be cropping now. And kohlrabi, which is worth growing just because it looks like that.
Ooh.
Isn't that splendid?
I love that. I didn't know you could grow it in this country. Really big.
Yeah, and you can eat the leaves as well, or you just hold it because it's like the vegetable from outer space. And rhubarb is featuring quite highly because we have lots of rhubarb at the moment. And this herb, which I grow alongside my rhubarb, which is sweet Sicily. And you can use the flowers and the leaves, and it's a natural sweetener. It helps to reduce the amount of sugar that's needed in recipes. So I actually quite like tart things, so I can leave sugar out completely with this.
What did you say that's called again? What's it called?
It's called Sweet Sicily.
Sweet Sicily, great name. I had never heard of that before. And I'm often interested in trying to substitute some sugars and things like that into my recipes, my baking, my cooking. So that's a really good tip.
Yeah, so you can halve your sugar if you put this in, or if you're weird like I am and like tart things, you can just leave the sugar out. And the other nice thing is slightly aniseedy flavour. You can eat the leaves and you can eat the flowers. And when it goes to seed, you get these green pods, which are really nice to chew as a breath freshener. So it even does that for you.
Amazing.
And asparagus, the asparagus is going crazy at the moment. And spring onions and radishes. So some of the things we're using, and also lemons. I have one lemon tree. So I picked some lemons this morning, but it's only given me 6. I've only got 6 lemons. It's not very big. It's quite small. So what I've made, where shall I start? I think I'll start with this, which is a roasted asparagus dish. And the thing I like about this is you can actually really play with it. And if you've got the time and the dish, you can make little scenes. Have you seen the focaccia bread that people are making with all the little gardens? You can do a similar thing with this dish. And it's very simply radish and spring onions and asparagus roasted in a roasting tin with just a drizzle of oil, sprinkling of salt and pepper. You put it in the oven, depends on your oven, about 180 for 10 to 15 minutes. It very much depends on the thickness of the vegetable. And it's amazing how delicious roasted asparagus is. People think of it boiled or steamed, but roasted, it's like a whole other dimension. And I quite like it just like that, but you can eat it with a lovely dressing as well. Oh, all the recipes here are entirely plant-based. And the reason I do that is because I grow loads of veg, but I don't have chickens or ducks or anything like that. But so you could use a mayonnaise or something with this if you wanted, but this is just things that I've grown.
So Stephanie, do you ever go to the supermarket to buy anything apart from your washing powders and your toilet rolls?
Yes, yeah, I do. I've got 3 kids, so they don't really want to eat roasted asparagus all the time. But I don't go that often, and pretty much everything that we eat is based on what we have at the moment. So this meal I decided pretty much what I was doing this morning when I'd finished gathering everything and knew what I had and what I could make. So
and how long have you been growing? How long have you been growing all of your own produce? So inspiring.
Well, I sort of started dabbling when I was about 17, and I started to grow things because I wanted to learn how to make homemade wine, because as you do when you're 17. And then I was a student, so I just had, things on windowsills. But really in my mid-20s, when I lived somewhere with a garden, I started trying to grow more and more food. And it's been going on ever since. I've been doing it professionally for about 11 years. But the rest of the time it's for family.
Yeah, lucky family. All that delicious homegrown food. So good for you.
So another thing I made, which this looks a little strange. It's not the most beautiful dish, but it's roasted lettuce, which is divine. So I let some lettuce get hearted, nice and crunchy and hard, quarter it, pop it in a roasting tin, drizzle with a little oil, salt and pepper. And again, that takes 10 minutes or so. It is so delicious, absolutely gorgeous, great with all kinds of things. And this I'm serving with rhubarb, which has been poached in rosé wine. So it's rosé wine and some water and some sugar, or you could use agave syrup or maple syrup with the rhubarb in, and simmer it till the rhubarb's just soft, let it cool. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a lovely pink colour, and the beautiful liquor that's left makes a fantastic salad dressing, just with a little vinegar and a little oil, shake it up, and a gorgeous dressing.
And would you just eat the rhubarb just as it is, or would you add it to your salad? Is that what you're going to do?
With this, basically the idea of this is after this, we're just going to get our plates and pile it all on. Right. So yeah, I would eat it with the lettuce. The roasted, when you roast lettuce, it becomes quite sweet, and it just goes so well with the rhubarb. And this is something for a different colour, pea and broad bean pate. So this is literally just peas and broad beans cooked just so they're tender in the food processor with a little lemon juice, salt and pepper, some parsley and some mint, though you can put whatever herbs you like. It'd be good with dill or with French tarragon, and then whiz it up. May need a little drop of water just till it's the consistency you like, and I put a little smoked paprika on the top. And the nice thing about this dish is if you don't have any fresh, the frozen stuff's absolutely fine and no one will ever know. So you
That's
can
a really good tip. So it's almost like a pate or like a hummus, like a pea.
It's a hummus,
sort of, yeah. So I couldn't get any broad beans, and I could only get the frozen peas. So I got edamame beans. Would they be any good to make that with, or not really? Because the consistency might not be
I haven't
as.
tried it.
They were both frozen.
Well, it's worth a try.
Yeah, slits it up and add some lemon and.
If it's those little green frozen ones that you can get in supermarkets, they'd be fine because they'd whiz up.
Yeah, it's the little green.
Yeah, that looks like it would do the same thing. Looks good anyway. So what I've got here is a quick pickled rhubarb. So it's not the sort of thing you can put on the shelf for the winter. It will last about a week in the fridge. And for this, you make a hot liquor with red wine vinegar and some water and I put a bit of maple syrup in as the sweetener, and I put in chopped sweet cicely as well. Bring that to the boil, salt. Bring that to the boil, let it cool. While it's coming to the boil, thinly slice the rhubarb, put it all in a jar, pour the hot liquid over the top and leave it to cool. And so the rhubarb is quite crunchy. I cut it with a knife because I like things quite thick. You could do it with a mandolin. And it's really, really delicious. It's something people don't think because it's almost raw, but it's absolutely great and lovely. It cuts through sweeter things and it just adds a whole other dimension to the palate. And it looks lovely in a jar, so you can just put it on the table and people think, ooh, how nice.
Yeah, that does look very chefy, doesn't it? I like that.
It does, yeah. And it goes with my wine.
Absolutely. There's a theme here. There's a bit of a theme here.
There is a bit, yeah. My daughter, I don't know if you can see the flowers. My daughter picked the flowers from our garden.
Yeah, they're beautiful,
and, she's sloped off with a glass of rosé as well as her treat.
Good girl.
She's 25. She's not a toddler.
Responsibly drinking.
Yeah.
She's of age. We just want to let everybody know.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
She's definitely older. This is another one of my favourite things to make, and you can actually put almost anything in. And this is a quick radish pickle. And I've also put in sliced kohlrabi, so sliced radish, sliced kohlrabi, sliced spring onions with salt and red wine vinegar and some water. Again, it made it hot, poured it over the contents. And this is something a little more unusual. Can you see that?
Yeah,
so it's a bolting radish pod.
Oh.
So one of the pleasures of growing your own food is you can get things that are much more difficult. You won't find these in supermarkets very easily. So when if radish starts to go to seed, if you leave it to grow, you will be rewarded, here we are, with little flowers like that. And they're edible.
Oh,
and you can
lovely.
put those on your salads, and they're good for bees and they bring in all beneficial insects. And then they produce these amazing pods, which are fantastic pickled. I like to just snack on them as well. And they're spicy, like a radish. Once they get too big, then they're a bit woody and they stick in your teeth. It's not so good. But like this, absolutely fantastic for pickling. So that's, I think for me, one of the main reasons why I really love growing my own is because, as well as filling baskets with vegetables, you can experience flavours and parts of a plant that you wouldn't normally be able to have.
Absolutely, because there's so often we waste so much of the plant because we just don't know. Or for me, I'm talking from my experience, you know, I'd be like, sometimes I've started eating more of the leaves of things and thinking, actually, I can probably eat all of this, you know, as long as it's clean and it's, you know, where it's coming from, and preferably organic. It's not always easy to get. So where did your love of gardening come from? Where did it start?
I think I've always liked it. My mum remembers me, they used to say I was always grubbing in the mud from being very little. So they like, where's Steph? And I'd be in the garden grubbing about. So I think I've always enjoyed it. And I do find it, you know, it's incredibly relaxing. And particularly, I have 3 children. I mostly raise them on my own. And it actually, just that little bit of a break when you can go and be with green leafy things that just grow and appreciate the sunshine and the weather. It's calming and relaxing, and you get loads to eat as well.
You do get loads to eat. So what's the most, when do you get the most excited? What's the one kind of vegetable or something that pops up that every year you're excited, or every season you're like, oh my gosh, yes, that's coming into, you know, into bloom, or into whatever what do you call it, into plant, into digging, I don't know
into fruit, into cropping.
Yeah, whatever, something's ready to eat.
For me, it's aubergines. And I've got, in my back garden, I have a polytunnel, which means I can grow far more warmth-loving plants. So I've got about 15, 18 different varieties of aubergine planted in there at the moment. So they're only little, but when they start fruiting, when I start picking them, because again, I grow, you know, the long, thin ones in all different colours, orange, stripy ones. So it's not just the big purple. There's so many colours and flavours and textures just of aubergines. And that again opens up a whole other cuisine, because some of them are particularly good in Thai cooking, and the big white ones that are like this big, sliced, they're just, and fried, oh, they're like eating just chunky delightfulness.
Chunky delightfulness sounds amazing.
Chunky delightfulness.
My mouth's watering.
So I get very, very excited by my aubergines.
You've got some great photos on your Instagram as well. So if anybody wanted to have a look at some of your delicious vegetables that you've been cooking, and those pictures. Did we lose each other then? Sorry about that.
Yes, we did. You turned into a robot. It was quite exciting.
I was just telling people to go to your Instagram because you've got some gorgeous photos of the things that you're growing, and yeah, it's very exciting. And just to see what's possible, to see what's actually possible to grow.
I think one of the things I try and emphasise is this is an ex-council house, so I'm not in anything particularly fancy. So it is achievable if you've got a bit of garden. It's nothing that needs sort of extraordinary conditions, except some of my aubergines.
Yes, they're going to need tending to, and you need that. What do you have? The polytunnel. Polytunnel. So that's just almost like a greenhouse then.
Yeah, long, like a big tent, but covered in polythene. You can stand up in it. You can make your own smaller version. So mine's 40 feet long, but if you just wanted one for one bed, you can just make some hoops and cover it with polythene, you know, a big sheet of polythene. I got a really good sheet of polythene the other day that came off somebody's mattress, so that kind of thing. So it's possible to do it for yourself as well on a smaller scale for home grows.
That is amazing. So I've got all this amazing produce here that I thought we were going to make a salad together. I didn't quite understand what we were doing, but I've got some lovely baby new potatoes. I've got some asparagus, some peas, some spring onions, some radish. Pretty much all of the ingredients you've spoken about today, except for the I couldn't get the rhubarb and I couldn't get the broad beans, and the peas are frozen, so they're not as fresh looking as your ones. But I'm just going to put this into a lovely salad with some mint, and I've got some you know, and add some lemon and some oil and some white wine vinegar. Does that sound okay? Does that sound like
Sounds
a good,
really good.
yummy
You can put
garden
a bit
salad?
of rosé in your salad dressing.
Would you recommend that? That's
Yeah.
coming from you? Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will do that. I love that. Thank you so much. I feel like we need to raise a little glass then.
All right.
Steph. Come on, Steph. Cheers.
Cheers.
Rosé all day. Thank you so much for your amazing inspiration and for yeah, it sounds like I'm going to make the scrummiest salad, and I've never really put rosé in my dressing before, so here's to something new.
It's the day to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. Happy Garden Day.
Thank you. Happy Garden Day.
Cheers.